60 mainline games, countless classics, and some of the most moving narrative in game history. There is no doubt about the greatness of Final Fantasy, but which one is truly the best? So today I've decided to rank the series from the worst to best based on my personal experience. So let's go. And before we dive in, a few ground rules. I won't be including the MMOs, all right, or sequels like X2, right? I am focusing on the main entries and major remakes that significantly changed the original experience. Right? So this is my opinion. So feel free to share yours with respect in the comments. All right. To the bottom tires, the struggles. All right. In the 17th place, we have Final Fantasy 2. I'll be blunt. I just can't do it. Every time I try to play Final Fantasy 2, I fail to connect with the characters or the narrative. The progression system is tedious and frankly frustrating. Whether it's the original or the Pixel remastered, it's the truly one or this list I truly dislike, right? And the 60th place, Final Fantasy 1. I respect its historical importance, but let's be honest, it lacks authentically compared to what came later. Its original form it was brutally difficult and today's feels very dated. Even with the quality of life updates in the Pixel remaster, it just doesn't click for me. And the 15th place is the Final Fantasy 3, the original, right? Original and the Pixel remaster. Similar to the first two, the original concept of Final Fantasy 3 didn't win me over, right? However, it ranks higher because it introduced the job systems, which became a cornerstone of the franchise. It's an important game, even if not one of my favorites, right? In the 14th place, 14th place, Final Fantasy X3. All right, Final Fantasy X3. I actually like this game concepts and the new Fabula Nova Crystallis. All right, this lore and the characters like Hope and Lightning really grow on you by the end. All right, really grow on you by the end. And however, the game suffered from a very troubled production at Square Enix, resulting in a linear and often problematic experience. All right. In the 13th place, Final Fantasy XV. All right. I love the words, the characters, and Yoko Shimura's soundtrack is masterpiece level, but Final Fantasy XV feels unfinished. All right, and knowing that Vito stories beats were cut to be sold as DLC or left in the trailers still bothers me. All right, so the updates improved it, but the combat and the gaps in the narrative keep it outside of the top 10. All right, and the 12th place we have Final Fantasy 3. All right, the DS and 3D remake. Okay, um, this is how you do a remake of an old title by giving the protagonist Luneth a personality and a name. All right, the narrative becomes much more robust. It was the first reimagining of the series and proved that Square could modernize their classics successfully, right? And we have the 11th place, the Final Fantasy Ivy. Right? So I love the characters, especially Kane, right? So especially Kane, the series' first great rival, while the narrative can drag and the difficult spikes were while it's a well realized game that laid the groundwork for the golden age of JRPGs, right? So the 10, the place number 10 is the Final Fantasy IV, the 3D remake. This version, originally for DS, added voice acting and 3D graphics that brought the world to life. It felt like a completely new game. It was also a milestone for me personally, as one of the first I played with official localization support, right? And the place number 9 is the Final Fantasy V3. All right. Um, this was the first Final Fantasy I ever played. All right. That opening cinematic changed my life. While I love Junction systems and the GFs, the game has pacing issues and a plot that gets unnecessarily complicated with the time travel. It's great but flawed. And we have the place number 8, Final Fantasy V, right? Um, this is the most underrated game in the franchise. It took the job system and polished it to perfection. It's simple, fun, and mechanically brilliant. If you haven't played, you are missing out on the masterpiece of gameplay, right? And this is the place number 7. We have the Final Fantasy V1, and many many puts these are the number one, and I understand why. It's a 16-bit miracle with an incredible villain, Kafka. It's the Kafka, and a moving history. All right, it only sits at number 7 because I played it later in life and didn't have the same childhood connection as others. But it's it is undeniably a work of art. And the place number 6 is the Final Fantasy X. My first big impact on the PS2, the graphics were mind blowing. All right, at the time, I've played it over 3 times, and every time I find more to love. Um, the linearity actually helps the tightly whitened emotional narrative a true hit. All right, true hit. And the place number 5, the Final Fantasy V2. All right. Um, Especially the remake. This is the gold standard for remakes. It honors the original while expanding the world in ways I didn't think it's possible. It's a fantastic entry point for new fans and kept me company during some very tough times. And the fourth place, the Final Fantasy V2 original. And the most important RPG of all time, it brought JRPGs to the masses in the West. The material system, Cloud's journey, Sephiroth's, everything is iconic. It opened doors for the entire industry. On the third place, we have the Final Fantasy, the Zodiac Age original version, and a massive political and complex world. The gambit system is one of the most genius things um, ever implemented in an RPG. It was way ahead of its time, offering a massive open world before it was a standard. It's a reference point for the whole industry, right? In the second place, the Final Fantasy XVI. I didn't expect to love it this much. Clive is now my favorite protagonist. The boss fights are the most epic I ever seen, and the words and the word building is top tier, right? It brought it brought the prestige back, um, prestige back to the franchise, proving that Final Fantasy can evolve and still keep its soul. Right, the first place, the Final Fantasy IX. For me, for me, this is the perfect Final Fantasy. It's a love letter to the entire series, the characters, the music, the themes of life and death. Everything is spectacular. It represents the pinnacle of the PlayStation 1 era and remains the most charming and complete experience in the franchise. It is and always will be number one in my heart, right? The conclusion. So, that's my list, guys. From the frustrating depths of Final Fantasy 2 to the magical heights of Final Fantasy IX. I know you probably disagree with some of these, so let's talk in the comments. Which one is your favorite? Thank you for watching. I'm Diego, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Ok. Esse aqui foi o vídeo, galerinha. Esse aqui foi o vídeo. Eu vou pausar que eu tô com medo de dar ruim.